Burnout Revenge would be the follow-up to the iconic Burnout 3 Takedown that was released for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox in 2005 and would later be added to the Xbox 360 in early 2006. And this game pretty much carries on the premise of all of the various elements seen within the third entry, where you have all of the modes such as crash mode, time attack, you have elimination modes, and the goal is to complete various challenges while working on winning races and trying to earn as much money as possible, and even to achieve the highest rankings such as gold medals and so forth, in order to unlock many of the game's items and additional tracks and cars that are available. And like Burnout 3 Takedown, Revenge also received really good reviews across the board with regards to how the game plays, as it's very similar to its predecessor, although the game has changed somewhat in terms of its difficulty, as the AI difficulty in the game is ramped up even higher than it was in the third entry. Plus, certain elements of the game has been tweaked to a point that in the takedown modes, when you have to make other drivers crash, it can be a lot more difficult to take out other opponents as you race, even when you smash into them. Sometimes it can take multiple attempts, and because of the aggressiveness of the AI, sometimes it's very unlikely that you will be able to knock them off the road. A lot of it is just down to pure luck, whereas with Burnout 3 that wasn't really an issue. Yes, it was challenging in its own right, but it was much easier to knock other drivers off the road. This game doesn't really allow you to do that as such, so you have to be kind of methodical in your approach on how you attempt to take them down, because there's a very good chance that while you're trying to take another racer off the road, there's a really good chance that you will crash yourself, which can hamper your progress as you race. And that will become more apparent, especially in the more difficult race types such as the elimination races. But it's still a very good all-round solid title, and is a great addition to the Burnout series that just literally carries on the lineage of what was seen before it. And the fact is, it was released on multiple consoles, and even at the time with the addition of the Xbox 360, which would have showcased greater and enhanced graphics, as that would have been the next generation of consoles at that time in early 2006. So it would have opened up the opportunity to play Burnout games to a whole different audience. And the advantage with the likes of the Xbox 360 as well is because at that point online gaming was starting to come into its own, and the Xbox 360 didn't have the limitations that the original console had, or even with the likes of the PS2 in terms of its online capabilities. So it would have opened up the doors for a lot more people to play against each other online, so it would have added to the appeal of the game even more. So like all of the other games in the series, it carries on the same elements, again with the same modes, unlocking of the different cars, different features. It's more of the same, but just even more so. There's more elements added, more cars, more tracks. There's a lot here to keep you playing for quite a while, and it's just another great addition to the Burnout series. But is it the best Burnout game? Well, that's kind of debatable, because many often refer to Burnout 3 Takedown to be the best in the series, but this is a good alternative. If anything, all of the games in the Burnout series, there isn't really a bad game in the series, if I'll be honest, especially on the likes of the PS2 or even on later consoles. Now the only differences would be maybe like the PSP versions or the Nintendo DS versions that were also being released at that time. Mind you, the PSP versions would have had better graphics and would have been more along the line with the likes of the PS2 versions, whereas the Nintendo DS versions would have been more old school graphics. They would have been seen more like on the PS1. And I remember having one of the Burnout games on the Nintendo DS, and it played decent enough, but it definitely was nowhere near as good compared to the likes of the PlayStation 2 or modern alternatives at the time. But it really just depends on your own preferences. Like, the Burnout series is a phenomenal series of racing games, and it proved that with each iteration of the game, even up to the last entry in the series with Burnout Paradise, that would see a release on the PlayStation 3 and again Xbox 360 in 2007, and would also get a remaster in recent years. So that will tell you how good these games are. So I can only imagine that there is a big call out for the earlier games in the series to also get a remaster, which I think that they should in their own right as well, because it will allow a whole new generation of gamers and even older fans to revisit and to explore the game from a whole new perspective. But I'd love to know your thoughts on Burnout Revenge, and even which is your favourite game in the series overall. So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be updated with future videos. And if you would like to see more content around other racing games that were also released on the PS2, you can check out the playlist on screen to see more of those games in action. And I will see you all in the next one.